Hello, everyone. My name is Tatiana Speed, and I am the coordinator of the Visioneers International Network. And today it is my honor to introduce this video, which showcases Dr. Geraldine Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer, co-founders of the Visioneers International Network, jointly receiving the Robert Muller Peace Prize in 2023 in honor of their lifetime of work promoting peace and global well-being. The prize honors the recipients and the memory of the extraordinary life of Dr. Robert Muller, who was the Assistant Secretary General to the United Nations and first Chancellor of the United Nations University in Costa Rica. Robert was the quintessential global citizen and Visioneers' hero of humanity, loved and respected by peace builders around the world. Throughout his life, Robert was powerfully influential in mentoring outstanding individuals and partnering their good work from concept to reality. His legacy lives on in his wife Barbara, and her team continues to choose these individuals and honor their lifetime achievements in his name. It was a great honor for Geraldine and Desmond to receive the Robert Muller Peace Prize, which they share in company with former distinguished recipients. The first award went to American entrepreneur, television producer, media proprietor Ted Turner, who founded the Turner Broadcast System, CNN, Turner Classic Movies, and supported the creation of the United Nations Foundation. In these dark existential times, when the human project on Earth is itself under threat, there is a great need for individuals whose fortunate circumstances and enterprise have provided the resources to act to support those working to create a better, safer future that we all share. Ted Turner exemplifies the Visioneers' concept of enlightened philanthropy for his many outstanding gifts to projects embracing humanity's well-being. The second recipient of the Robert Muller Peace Prize was Ambassador Anwar Chowdhury, permanent representative of Bangladesh to the United Nations, former president of the United Nations Security Council, former Undersecretary General of the United Nations, and champion of the Culture of Peace movement. Here is Barbara Muller, winner of the prestigious Visioneers Award as a Visionary Leader, presenting Dr. Geraldine Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer the third annual Robert Muller Peace Prize Award.
To Desmond Berghofer, Visioneers International Network, started by them to honor Robert Muller and all the peace heroes on whose shoulders we stand. Robert was a lifelong champion of peace at the United Nations, as you so eloquently said, Ambassador Chowdhury. The Peace Prize recognizes and honors the extraordinary contributions of Des and Jerry, Dr. Geraldine Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer. We are so proud to present you with the Peace Prize. This year, we will be having this sent to you in Canada. You know, you are the founders of the Visioneers, and this is what is so phenomenal. This was founded in October 9, 2022. We are talking 1 year later. At that time, we were only having 40 peace leaders from 3 countries. 1 year later, October 2023, the Visioneers International has expanded to 62 countries and hundreds of peace builders, thanks to the tireless efforts of Dr. Geraldine Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer. And so with that, I am so delighted to welcome them both to our program. And I'm looking forward to you accepting the award and saying a few words. Dr. Geraldine Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm going to go first. And I hardly know where to begin to say how honored and grateful I am to be the recipient of a Peace Prize dedicated to the memory of my friend and mentor, Robert Muller, and to receive it jointly with Jerry, who for over 30 years has been my wife, and partner of the heart, as well as a brilliant and compassionate partner of the work we do together for the benefit of humanity. It's a double honor, so thank you. I believe we were called to come together from the second half of two very separate lives to give voice through the energy of our love to the potential for humanity to create a wonderful future. And when we met Robert, we knew we had found a mentor of extraordinary human quality. As anyone who was touched by Robert's presence will tell you, he was one of a kind, a quintessential global citizen, the model of the kind of human being the world now so desperately needs. If I can do nothing more today, it would be enough to rekindle his spirit for all to feel. When I wrote my book, The Visioneers, a courage story about belief in the future in the early 1990s, to proclaim the birth of a global mind in which people everywhere across all divides could come together in joyful collaboration and celebration of life, I gave a copy to Robert, and he saw right away what I was up to. And he did his best to promote the book and its ideas to a wide audience. We didn't get as far as we wanted to back then because the book was ahead of its time, waiting for the technology to be born and the conditions to be right for the message to reach the world. Now, 30 years later, we have the technology and the means to do it in spectacular fashion. And that's what the Visioneers project is doing. And I sincerely hope that today's event on the birthday of the United Nations will give it a big boost. And the way we're doing that in the Visioneers project is to build a mighty global exposition filled with pavilions of people and projects doing good work in the world. We're doing this virtually using the powerful digital technology that's becoming more powerful and effective with every passing day, so that you don't have to travel to some far-off place to visit this grand exposition. You can carry it around on your cell phone, in your pocket or purse, or put it up on the screens in your home. And there you will meet these people and see what they are doing to improve the world, not destroy it. And we learn from them, and we can learn from them so that we can replicate their good work in our own communities. The greatest joy for Jerry and me over the past few years, as we've worked with our local team to build the Visioneers Network, has been to meet and converse with extraordinary people and learn from them how to build humanity's golden peace on earth and become that one human family focused on uplifting each other and building each other's dreams. You know, the new science is revealing that what we call material reality is really a sea of foaming energy in which we and everything else are entangled. We're not separate, we're entangled in ways that defy our abilities to understand, but on which we are peeling back the skin of the onion to more fully comprehend the magnificence waiting for us in the future. Of course, the impediments to progress are enormous, mostly coming out of our own immature consciousness. And the threat of collapse is ever present. But, you know, we learn that life is resilient and that the big story of humanity is survival from moments of near extinction from time and time again over countless millennia to re-emerge and triumph in new ways. which brings me back to the indomitable spirit of Robert Muller, who reminds us that nothing is impossible, that we can rise above all limits, that our inheritance on earth is to live in happiness with each other and the magnificent splendor of nature. And here's Robert in his own words.
We have to do it. Again, do not consider anything impossible. This is why I speak so much about the world in my books, and 18 books so far. And in my 4,000 ideas, it's always this: you must love the earth as your home. Nature gives you peace all the time. You can look at this beautiful nature without end for hours.
Yeah, that was the beautiful nature at the University for Peace in Costa Rica. And those memories of Robert are really touching. Another part of the Visioneers platform is to provide a means for the wisdom of people like Robert and the others I have shown you to be readily available to the world. We have done this by creating what we call the Visioneers Masterworks Emporium of the great works of our time. This is a magnificent virtual library, you can see on the screen there, in 9 categories, modeled on the ancient library of Alexandria. This was Jerry's idea. I told her I thought it was a bit of a stretch to try to model the ancient library of Alexandria, but she went ahead and did it anyway. And now we have this magnificent repository of wisdom and inspiration. Here are some of the books that are on the in the Emporium. But in this modern age, we're not limited to preserving ancient scrolls or even books, but we can include all kinds of other media like film, music, any of the arts, poetry, documentaries, videos, and so on. All this is on the website and available to anyone with an internet connection. So we invite you to check it out. It's still a work in progress, but you'll find much there to educate, inspire, and uplift. Jerry will take it from here. She's a scientist and a poet, and she'll share some of that with you. Jerry.
Thank you, Desmond. So I would like to begin first by showing you the symbol of the Visioneers, the rainbow eagle in full flight. The rainbow eagle represents the power of our glorious human diversity of color, race, belief, and culture. It represents all of us, glorious in full flight. The task ahead requires the strength of the eagle and the power of all of us to achieve what seems impossible. And I'm going to show you as we proceed how we can actually do this. As I have moved into 62 countries to give hundreds of awards, I have been astonished how many of them knew Robert, admired him, were mentored by him, and loved him. And that just sort of makes this award so special to us. And just let me tell you then about the Visioneers and how Robert would have loved the Visioneers. And especially let me tell you about what we were about to do. So Barbara told you about what we have done in 1 year. We have gathered our family of incredible people. We have offered Hero of Humanity awards to people like Ambassador Chaudhry, now 32 of them on our platform, and to Visioneers, more than 30 of the visionary leaders, and there are more than 30 of them, but there are hundreds and hundreds of other awards. So what we have done up to now is just a beginning. The bar is set very high. And so I'm going to tell you what's happening next. And if what I say to you stirs your soul, we invite you to join us. So let me say this. Like Robert, we are living through an existential moment in human history, when moral corruption of the very few is beyond measure reprehensible. I watch the TV screen each night with such tears that I eventually have to turn it off. But we must not crumble in this darkness, or let it define us personally on our brief sojourn on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a time for gentle showers. It is a whirlwind full of thunder and lightning. We must muster every ounce of fuel for liftoff. This is a time for courage. We must not be timid in going for the greatest prize of all of us, and for the next 7 generations. This is a call to be the champion of champions. We must wage peace, guided by the brilliance of every mind and every heart we can find and touch. We must break out of the silos that become barriers and become one common humanity. We need to create not just peace, but a golden peace, because the very spirit that Ambassador Chowdhury was talking about, the very spirit of our humanity is at stake. So the Visioneers are now touching with this message of golden peace. More than 1,000 people in our network in 62 countries, and not just 1 or 2 teams of people, 9 countries in Africa, 26 in Europe, the 3 in North America, Canada, Mexico, and the United States, South America, in Australia, 4 out of the 5 states. In the United States, 29 states have people, and 17 universities have teams. Indeed, we have 3 teams at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel, and would you believe, even a team in the Palestinian territory, and in Syria, and in China. So it's so important that we touch people at the level of our common humanity. So what is the golden peace? It's not just the absence of war. It includes safe harbor, where mother and infants begin life in safety, where schools from nursery to elementary to high school to universities are places where students feel safe to pursue learning and to make friendships, and where bullying of any kind is unacceptable. That's where we need to start with the little ones. The golden peace means a society where the disabled, the elderly, and the poor are accepted and treated with respect and kindness and encouraged to make their contribution. It's a place where we look after the earth, the air, the water, ourselves, and each other, and much more. The Visioneers are building the golden peace. And so what I'd like to show you here are 4 platforms that we have built to capture this news story that is going on right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is not only what you hear on your television screen. The truth, 99.9% of the truth, is not like that. And we are finding the champions of people who are showing the data, the science of how humanity is a noble species evolving towards goodness. Okay, so what you see up there at the in the virtual expo that Des showed you just a few moments ago, you see 11 corridors of the virtual expo in the top left corner. and they mirror each of the items in the golden piece. And this international exposition, a virtual one, that our technology people tell us will last as long as the pyramids, there it is for you to explore anywhere in the world with a digital connection. Now, each award winner has their own personal pavilion where their stories are told and their legacies are described in terms of their contribution to the golden piece. And the site automatically designates their areas of contribution with these black buttons. So if you look at this slide, this is a slide of Robert Muller. You see how many of these black buttons and where the contributions are. You can see that the site is very interactive. So clicking on any of the black buttons brings up all the others on the site who are also working in that area. So if you are if you're interested in education, for example, the first one that's up there that Robert has and his Robert Muller schools that are all over the world, and you clicked on that, you would see hundreds of other people on our site who have wonderful stories to tell about education. This allows the viewer to take a guided tour of their own, of people who of like mind, and enables you to contact any of them. So the idea of collaboration and community building is part of the original technical design, now created by one of our youth founders, Jamie McGrill. And so what you see here is the ability for you to connect with any of these, to contact them, and to participate. But what an education it is as you go down the corridor of your own creation in this virtual exposition and see hundreds of extraordinary inspirational stories. That's the truth too, ladies and gentlemen, not just what you're hearing on the media. So we have created a wall of stories, and it's built one brick at a time while Robert Muller plays the Ode to Joy on his harmonica. So on our website, as you watch, you will see each brick color-coded to one of the Sustainable Development Goals. And that provides a way for us to measure support for each goal. Clicking on any brick as it passes brings the pavilion into view. To date, the wall has hundreds of stories. It takes 6 minutes to pass as it builds in front of you. And here is why we do this. There is no resource on this planet more powerful than human energy, working together with the brilliance, the passion, and the power to create the seeming impossible. So the energy of this planet is not oil or electricity or water. It is all of that created by humanity. And the most important thing is that Robert was such a genius at, and he understood so instinctively and so intuitively, that the power comes from relationships. So if one person acts in a good way, that's wonderful. But if that person can get another person to work with them, that is more than twice the power. And that is why we have had exponential growth on our site and where we're going this year. And so what we have done is we have taken this wisdom. See, Robert understood how important it was not only to have the idea, but to act interior to that idea. And so we have acted. We have taken the wisdom and we have designed a course in global citizenship. And this was available to anyone online. And so you can see, as you saw before, guide yourself through this course at your own pace and your own time. But we have also designed a special course for high school students that can be used for university credit. And we're beginning our pilot study with the first school in Vancouver on February 1st, 2024. And there will be at least 4 or 5 other schools coming on deck from Vancouver in a twinning project that will invite schools around the world to also participate. So we designed the course of global citizenship, understanding that learning changes the brain and the mind. And remember that we need a global mind change. Okay. That's the most important thing to understand, that it isn't only one person who needs to change. Of course, that's where you begin. But one person needs to teach one person and teach another person. And so our course is built on a new concept of each one teach one. And we will have hundreds of teachers in each school of global citizenship just as soon as they get going, because they will learn not only about global citizen from the most incredible minds in the world, they will learn to teach others about this wisdom and to focus it on their community and to act on it. So we invite you to embark on the journey with us, to see beyond even the majestic peaks of the rainbow eagle eye view I showed you to start. We need not just a new solution, but millions of new solutions. And here's a new word for you. We must work together as a collaboratory of the very best of us. And now, with the power of mind and heart, bursting with Amazon's spirit to create, to invent new solutions for a troubled planet. That's what the Visioneers are doing. What a project for you to become a part of. And the Visioneers are out there to wage peace with as much strategic power and ferocity that is going on in the world in waging war. And they are few and we are many. And we are going there to win the peace. And our goal is to create a new story of who we are, a noble species, evolving towards a global culture that is good, decent, and thriving for everyone. Because as Desmond told you in his speech, we are connected at the very tiniest quanta of who we are. We need to understand that we are many and we are one. We are one species. And we have been threatened, ladies and gentlemen, many times in the thousands of years that we have been on the planet. But as people on this platform know, when we get the champions, like some of you that I know, looking at Marilyn right there, when we get the champions working together, that's when we get an outcome. And so that's the invitation that the Visioneers have offered. The website is now public and open. It allows you to do it as a presentation. It is so beautiful and easy and automatic to do. And we invite you not only to do it, but to share it. To share it. So we are so honored. Thank you so much for this wonderful award. And what it does is it so affirms our life's vision and provides us with the courage we need to, as elders in the world who may not finish the job, to start it and to hand it on. And this is a multi-generational project. It's for young people, it's for elders, it's for people who have every race and color and belief and spirit. It's people who are wanting to work at the level of our soul and our spirit, not only to survive, but to thrive. Can you imagine what we will become when we are all putting our passion and energy into the good side of humanity, helping each other, honoring each other? That is what the Visioneers is about. It's about honor. It's about respect. Not only for a peace without war, but for a peace that honors each and every one of us and asks and demands a contribution from everyone. It's not enough to be absolutely crumpled by the badness we see there. Now is our time. Remember Robert, what he did when he came out of that awfulness of the Second World War. He went and spent his life doing these incredible things. And his legacy is feeding people all over the world. It's part of people's health. It's part of all the good agencies that he helped to found. And he's part of all of our work, because if he inspired us to do it, that's part of his legacy too. And if we inspire people to follow us and to do our peace work, then that's part of our work too. So thank you so much for this award and for giving me the opportunity to talk, and for us to accept this award with great pleasure. Thank you.
That was absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing, and such a wonderful way to accept the Robert Muller Third Annual Peace Prize.
If today's conversation stirred something in you, if you felt inspired, uplifted, or called to act, we invite you to visit the Visioneers website and discover how you can be part of this growing global movement for peace, purpose, and possibility.